Holy frick. It's happening. I won't talk much right up here because it's about to happen right over there. But I feel like I should give a little disclaimer. If you don't need the disclaimer, you can skip ahead to 258. But yeah, here we go. I think it's easy to understand why most bars had a no politics, no religion policy. It's not easy to converse in these areas without causing some long-lasting and sometimes very damaging offense. Rightfully so. It's understandable. We're not just talking about the weather. We'll have a mission statement soon up on the websites, so we won't have to give these kind of talks. But our main goal is to foster open conversation on these religious topics. I believe they're much deeper, complex than we've been taught growing up, especially in my deep fundamentalist background. It takes a while to get into the Bible. I'm not going to lie. I think about episode 8. We've done about 9 of these now. Okay, so there's a lot of, footwork we're doing here, okay? Stories of ourselves, stories of what forms our beliefs, stories about certain passages, right? But we're not going to try to cherry pick. We're going to just try to pick books and go through the whole thing. So Genesis 1 comes. Genesis 1. We'll get there eventually, but not just yet. Not just right this moment. Also, I kind of want to let these conversations be open to nuance, long form, not very many edits. Kind of hopefully in the future, none. I did have to edit a couple of these because they get a little too personal. But, we're learning. Also, some lag time, not the best audio. These are our first steps. This is the first deal. So it's getting better and better. And we have a bunch of ideas. A bunch. So, fudge. Heck yeah, should we do this shit?
Hair, man. His hair is horrible.
Dude,
I'm getting a haircut this week.
I just ran this through a dryer sheet.
What?
I just did this because my hair is so fucking frizzy.
Yeah. Well, I just don't have, my hair, it's never going to be good long. And no matter what I do, it just doesn't matter. And I have the perfect, Katie's like, dude, the perfect haircut for you. You've had it for years. It's amazing. Why do you fuck around?
That's actually a really good point.
I'm like, shut up. I just want to, it was COVID. I just want to grow my hair out one more time. It's like, yeah, you did it. It's long. It's dumb. Cut it off. So we're doing Christmas with her family this weekend in Packwood because it's not hot enough here. We have to go to the backside of Mount Rainier in the high fucking desert of Washington. And I've got an appointment to get my hair cut.
Over there?
On Wednesday before we leave. And the thing is, I went to this place 2 weeks ago, hoping, because my brother-in-law said that he's got long hair, and he said they were good with long hair, but I didn't get the guy who was good with long hair. I just got the barber dude who's like, I don't know what to do with this. He's like, let me go talk to Colin. Colin wouldn't even look at me when he came back in the room. So as soon as I left and tipped the guy his, $40, and so it's like, $1,000 for a haircut, I immediately got back online and made an appointment with Colin for this week. So I'm just going to roll back in there 3 weeks later. Can you cut this shit off, please?
COVID hair especially.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might just go full metal dude for the rest of it. Just braids. Just let it skull it probably at some point.
How's your mom's dad's hair? You look like that's not going anywhere.
It's doing okay. It's I'm Asian. I was sleeping like an hour a night for 20 years or whatever there. So I think I kind of accelerated.
Do you think that affects? But how's your hairline? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, it's going back, but not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going back. I mean, I wear more hats than I ever have. It sucks, but like
I'm
gonna be fucking 39 in a month. So
it's so weird that you're gonna be 39 and when you were like 19.
Yeah. Actually, what was
that
it?
True?
Yeah,
were you at Rocket Records?
That was that was actually the first time we met because I wasn't even in a band yet. I was just getting.
No. Did we meet at the records at Loaded when Loaded played?
Yes, but we met in this rad way. Actually, I don't know. I think it was either the Phoenix Underground but I think it was I Spy. I think it was the I Spy. Do you remember that place downtown?
Yeah. It used to be Weathered Wall.
Yeah. So I can't remember which band I was playing in. I'm pretty sure it probably was Priss. But it might have been that Common Heroes band. But, anyway, it was like my entry-level band into ever playing in a band. And so, like, I was awkward as fuck. I didn't know. I'm fresh from the woods. Like, I've never even seen this many people.
The Bible and the woods.
Yeah, and I didn't know. It was rough, man. So I was like, I didn't know Thai food was a thing. I didn't even know.
Sushi was like 10 years away.
I was like, no idea. And so I was like, we played a show and it was kind of good. And you guys were all hanging out. Squires, I think actually Duff was there too. And I was just talking to all these people. And you were like listening to me. And you just walked in on the conversation and you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get over here. And I just followed you over to all the rock stars, and you're supposed to be over on this side, and like you just brought me into this conversation. It was like Duff. So that was like our first real meeting.
These are your people, buddy. I just want to drop this real quick on you. This is where you hang out. You're on this side of the road.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
Get in here.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. It's awesome. That makes me feel really good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, and then was and then the in-store you guys did in Tacoma was after that?
Yeah, I think so. Because when that happened, I wasn't like, we were like just trying to get a Sunday night at the Central. That's what we were like. We were just when I met you at the I Spy, the in-store, we were actually kind of we put out an album. I think we made a record with Jack and Dino at that point, so we'd had some heat or whatever.
Go ahead.
Oh, because Common Heroes, my first band, was a Christian band, so we almost got signed to this Christian record label called Flicker, which was kind of rare. Because do you know who Audio Adrenaline is?
Don't know.
They're like a big Christian band. It was the bass players label, so we
then
no.
No. I know who Slayer is, and those guys from Sweden who eat each other when they kill each other. Mayhem.
Yeah, dude.
But hold on, but so the I Spy thing was probably like 99 or like 2000, 2001 or something?
Yeah, 2000, I believe.
And then later, so
2000, almost 2001 maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been before because the Rocket Records thing was 2005 after I moved to Tacoma.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we were familiar with that. And so did we have any interaction between those two?
I feel like, when was your... No, I think I was just grinding, dude. I was just like, any band that would let me play any instrument, I would just join and would play, So I was just playing shows, and I kind of sucked, obviously, back then. So I was like,
so then really quick on the Weathered Wall or the I Spy thing. Who were you talking to? Do you remember when I'm like, oh, dude?
So it's just a bunch of weird.
And we'd never had any interaction. And the first thing I said to you is, dude, come here.
Yep. Yeah, you're like, what do you do? You said, what are you doing? what are you doing? You're like, dude, come here. What are you doing?
No.
It was really funny.
Like pick you up by the scruff of the neck with my mouth and carry you back to your lip.
I didn't even drink. I was a beverage in my hand all of a sudden. And in fact, I remember going like,
just appeared.
Yeah, no, it was like, you're like, you want a beverage? And I'm like, oh, I don't drink. And you go, yeah, you do. And then you got me a beverage.
All right.
Yeah, it was fun.
Nick's a good guy. Let you peek in his car.
And there's like the cool part about back then was I was so sober that I have all these memories, like from all these touring years. Like I never drank.
Yeah.
So it's like they're crystal clear. So jumping off roofs and pushing shit. And like we one night we got we got an entire dumpster into a pool. Like one of those big roller dumpsters. Sober as fuck. Yeah.
So why was the destruction of public property on the table, but drinking wasn't on the table?
Well, this was so for me.
I don't mean to like I don't mean to poke holes in the hypocrisy. I don't mean to poke holes in the dogma.
It's man. We'll get into that a little later. So this is funny. So it was always explained to me, and like I used to go to like classes at church about this shit. Like how do you have a good relationship, like a marriage, Because my parents didn't, and I wanted to. I wanted to have like a wife that could trust me and like me, but I also like all I've ever wanted to do is play music or be in a band, and with that comes a lot of stigmas, a lot of things that I eventually fell into. Great fun, good fun, but back then, I was saving myself for marriage, and it was a big deal to me. Like I didn't want to have sex before I was married because I thought God couldn't bless my marriage and it would fall apart. And then also, I was like, there's this added benefit where my girl can trust me on the road and like proven. But
sidebar. It was surprising to everybody. It was a big deal to everybody. Everyone who knew you. Like, you doing what? Hey, God bless him. God bless him.
Dude, the amount of threesomes I gave up on those tours, like just like girls in hot tubs, and I'd be like just talking about Jesus, trying to kill the mood, just trying to like kill all boners, like you close your eyes and just think about like varicose veins or anything that just turns you off, you're just like. And so this actually came about. We were on tour with this couple rad bands. This band called Bayside, this band called Schoolyard Heroes, and we were in Arizona. It was a really cool show, and there was like a really fucking attractive girl at the show. First time there was a girl hanging around the gig that I was like, Jesus, like,
oh dear.
Whoa. So I actually scooted from the gig as fast as I could back to the hotel because I didn't want to be tempted.
You and your desires got to go.
Fucking, and I just start pounding burritos. You know what I'm saying? Just like get, so
get the food coma going.
Yeah. And then Burke, the drummer of Vendetta Red, this guy Jack O'Shea, and this guy John Beats from the band Bayside, and me would all just kind of end up in the hot tub at the end of the gigs. Like everyone else would be partying, but we'd be in the hot tub, like just chilling, drinking a beer, And so that was happening, and we're just chilling. It's the best night. It's my birthday, and lo and behold, that girl shows up with a bunch of friends, and they're in bikinis. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, like she looked even better. It was crazy. I'm from Maple Valley, Washington. I've never seen a girl that attractive before.
Yeah.
And then now they're in the hot tub with us, and now they're like being flirty. And so like, I just got up and started throwing all the lawn furniture in the pool. And Burke kind of joined me, and Jack joined me, and then we were just all of a sudden like the pool's like almost full of fucking lawn furniture, like the like you can't get, there's almost not a bottom. And we started playing games where we would like throw a table in, but then you got to jump in and swim down and bring it up with one breath. And we invented these post-game shows called the Queen's Olympics, and we would do it every night from here on out. But it was really me trying to get these hot girls to leave because I was like past my limit of temptation. They were, so that's how that came about.
Did the other fellas know what those games were about, or were they just weird in their own way?
Yeah, they were just having fun. I think they were probably in relationships. So, the guys that were in relationships were always like, had a lot more free time.
Always?
Some
All
of them
of
were.
them?
No,
All of them?
well, they always fell at one point. They all fall.
Because if I'm on the road and I get the relationships thing, because that's a real thing. But if
Yeah.
I'm on the road and there's someone and there's a group of people in the hot tub, I guess you didn't start throwing things into the hot tub. But
Oh, we did eventually.
I'll tell you, you and I would have had a couple of talks about. We would have had some true come to Jesus moments where it's like, okay, here's the dealio, Emilio. We gotta sort this out. Like we either gotta.
Can't act like 4-year-olds?
Well, you can, and because we're in a rock band, so basically we are 4-year-olds. But you need to not have. You just deal with what you're dealing with instead of like just say no. Or if you need someone to run interference, I can help you with that.
Yeah.
You can still be around, and we'll just make sure you don't do it. It's sort of like a sober guy or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
it's
see,
just not
I needed
happening.
you, is what
Yeah.
it was. I needed, see, because like,
Right. Yeah, it's just like because I can help you make it not happen, but you should probably let it happen. You want to be good at having sex before you get married. It's just like anything else. You don't want to be new at anything when you're doing it with somebody else for the first time.
and this is, I can tell you that from experience because I did save my virginity for my wedding night. And like, to be honest, that literally ruined my first marriage. There was so many weird, awkward things that pastors had told me would just, everything will be fine as long as you keep your virginity until your marriage. Like, it really...
And again, are these guys who are the pastors celibate?
No.
And not only are they not celibate, they're not dropping dime for you. They're not like giving you any useful information.
Oh, yeah, right? And I follow it, by the way, back then. I love following that shit.
Right. You follow the information blindly without any... That's what's called having faith. And that's the thing that disturbs me so profoundly about organized religion, is that faith isn't that there's a God in heaven. Faith is that you're going to believe. I have faith in the fact these people aren't lying to me for the betterment of the, they don't have some ulterior motives. Like, I'm just going to take it on faith that I don't need proof or some real honest guidelines.
Yeah.
Not just generally, but I need the weeds. If I'm gonna go all the way through how old were you when you got married?
26.
Okay, so you're fucking 26. You've been on the road by then a bunch. You passed up threesomes. Threesomes never went right for me. Never went right. The only time they happened, it was always two dudes, and I realized I can't get a boner on another dude when they're. I'm like, so what ended up being is me watching some dude fuck my girl, and that's like, it's like, okay, I'm gonna check that box and never do that one again. But that's good to know. It's like that's a lesson that I need to learn. So it's like, okay,
at least you're willing to explore.
Right, well, yeah, I was open to it, but like. You having no experience whatsoever and not having some little guideline, a little cheat sheet on what's coming when that woman takes her pants off for the first time. It's like, okay, do I? Yeah, it's just that faith part is so fucked. My dad has it still to this day. I think I stopped busting his balls about 10 years ago about the child raping thing because it's like, how many times can you give a guy shit about that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I thought it maybe would change him. No, because he's a smart guy, right? He's a educated pilot. He's like a writer. He fancies himself, but he's drank the Kool-Aid, or at least he acknowledges that he carries the glass of Kool-Aid around with him everywhere. He might not drink it. Maybe he drinks it. I don't know, but he has it. He's got a packet in his wallet, sort of like a condom of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
it's like
older thing because
generational.
Yeah, it's like a fire insurance. Well, you hit on so many things there that are like, because one of the biggest problems is like, I think faith, and not to shit. Like, I've met good Christians, I've met bad Christians. I'm not saying that there isn't a God. I'm not saying there isn't, but like, when you have a blind faith, it doesn't really ever end well. And in fact, there's a thing that was chiseled in stone about this, and you're so fucking stupid you don't even realize it. When it says, "Do not take the Lord your God's name in vain," that's not saying, "God damn it." That doesn't fucking. He doesn't care if you say Jesus Christ in that way. That means don't use God's name to fuel your holy war. Don't use God's name to punish your children this way you want to. Don't use God's name to do a human thing that is flawed and wrong and think it's righteous. And everyone lives behind this blind, like you present them with a fact these days. And that's kind of what I'm hoping this maybe does is foster open conversations about this topic, right? Because it's so guarded and everyone's like, I believe this, and you're not going to change my mind. And it's like, that's not a fucking virtue, bro. That's not a good thing.
I never knew that. I never knew that isn't that the first commandment?
Yeah, I think so. Second? Man, I'm pretty high.
I didn't get high. I didn't get high.
Grab a joint. We can cut that out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you cut that out. Or I'll just go grab a joint and hold on 1 second. What is TCB? Total control. Yeah, boy. Oh, you see, you did the smart thing. You just unplugged. I took mine out because I'm dumb. I'll get to it.
These things,
yeah,
I got that. Go ahead, what?
Your parents, were they both religious?
Yeah. My dad was, they're both kind of like from immigrant farmer families. It's really weird, but my dad is like, his family was from Danish royalty that got like, they tried to kill him off. And so they came here and they were farmers. And then my mom, just a bunch of Norwegian farmers came here from Cooperstown, North Dakota.
Was your dad born over there?
No, they were all born in Washington by the time. But Grandma and Grandpa, I think one of them was born. 2 of them were born over there on both sides. So you're then you can get dual citizenship. Yeah,
you should. You should get the fuck out.
I've thought about it a lot for Norway. I still have family in Norway I haven't met. Yeah.
Well, and so you know what you can do is when you tour over there, you can not get charged the taxes from the states.
Well, that means I'm going to be going over there a lot.
Yeah.
I need to start a metal band.
Oh, right, yeah. You know, I do a little bit, my talking is a little bit better when I haven't smoked weed, but it turns out the name of our podcast is Let's Get High and Talk About it. Let's Get High and Read the Bible. So I don't want to be a hypocrite because we've already talked about those fuckers. So I'll take the hit. Oh, I'll take the hit. What? Shit. Oh shit! Yeah. Yeah. I love your turkey bag, man.
Oh, dude, yeah. This is the tiny one. Look at this one.
Holy shit! Did that come with the thing? You can order. Oh, it's got the little.
No, I fucking made this.
Yeah, you did. How do you find that big a turkey bag?
Working for growers, trimming weed.
Yeah.
I got buddies.
But I've never seen a turkey bag that big, and I'm a grower.
Yeah.
Amazon?
No, it was just from my buddy's place that I work for.
Oh, he's got a hookup.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big facility.
Yeah. And so is the reason that you're supposed to be celibate until, like, what is the whole? They're trying to keep people putting butts in seats, right? They need parishioners.
Well, that comes. You got to think about this. That comes years later, right? When the Bible was written, like the Old Testament was, the earlier parts is written to these people wandering around the desert. So when they say, when they say don't eat pork, it's because hooved animals out there get parasites and it's going to kill everyone. When they say a girl has to be in a tent on her period, it's because people can get sick or something like this. Well, I don't. That one might not be real. I'm not sure. But you see, you can at least understand that was the best knowledge they had 5,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, for 6,000 years ago.
Some of it was timely. Some of it was based on
all of it.
Oh, okay. It was more guidelines for life, not necessarily spiritual advice.
So, like, the cool part. So for me, growing up, like, so deeply fundamental. Like I grew up.
Oh shit! Well, I'm sorry.
Oh
Your
no.
parents. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. It's like, so, but what is the? I mean, why? How come they can get? Were they religious, and how can they get divorced?
Oh, they can't. That's a huge rift. They can't.
But did they?
Yeah, but me for being divorced, I am basically going to hell, according to my church and family and all them. Yeah.
And so are your parents.
Yeah, my dad.
So well, that's cool. I mean, we
Yeah.
should go up. Be like, oh, not your mom though?
No, she didn't do anything. Well, and according to the Bible, she didn't do anything wrong. So.
Because she's a woman, or because she didn't leave your dad?
Correct.
Which? Both?
Both, yeah.
If she would have left your dad and still been a woman, would she be going to hell?
Yes.
If your dad had not left your mom, would he still be going to hell?
No.
Right. So the lever is fucked.
Yes.
Is cursed.
Yes.
Gets withered. I've been telling that story, man. That's my favorite. I want to name a band Withered.
That's actually not. That's. I see it.
Yeah.
That'll be our stoner metal band.
every guitar lift, every guitar solo would be like a laser gun. Totally.
I don't even do that shit anymore. It's funny.
So your dad's going to hell, but your mom's not. I mean, I'm sure your mom's done something since then. She's going to hell too, right? I mean, nobody gets out unscathed.
See, no, my mom has never been on a date since my family try their best to live according to the Bible, and they don't dick around.
None of them.
No, I mean me. Would be considered. I shouldn't be naming names. I'm talking all personal too. Yeah. And but everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I'm not even saying they might even be right. The stuff in the Bible that I see about relationships, actually, a lot of it I like, a lot of it I don't. But there's a lot of it that's great, and our problem, at least for me growing up, was this whole courtship angle where we weren't allowed to date. So, like, when I went from the woods to that band, like, I didn't even know. I didn't know what a date meant. I didn't know what talking to girls was. I didn't. So, it was like, you seen that movie, like Kingpin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of what it was like, So, like,
right.
I didn't even know you could touch boobs, and like.
We're gonna have to edit something here because I just pressed the record again. It said, please request permission from the meeting host. Am I not recording?
It should be recording. Did you hit
All
record?
Right. I did record, but it keeps saying request permission. Oh, it says recording. Never mind. The red light's on. My fault.
Okay.
Yeah, like what is it? What's his name? He's Uncle Eddie. Cousin Eddie, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, what's his name's kid? Woody Harrelson's character?
Oh, that's Woody Harrelson. Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking of Uncle Eddie actually from Griswold. The Clark.
Oh yeah.
It's not that guy.
Yeah, it's not that guy. Oh, dude, have you seen that guy lately? What's his name? Randy.
Yeah, he died.
Randy Hansen. No,
Quaid.
Quaid.
Yeah.
No, he just started making all those weird porns with. He looks like Santa. Got like super fat. Dude, what? He got like super fat, got like this tweaked out girlfriend, and just started fucking her on camera and put it all over the internet.
No, he didn't.
And he's like,
he didn't.
Dude,
no, he
yeah.
Didn't. No,
yeah.
He didn't.
I mean, I couldn't finish it. I started it just to see what was up, but like, shit. Oh man.
No.
It's rough.
Oh no. Now, God, the worst part, and everyone knows it. That's what probably, if you're not laughing yet, the worst part of this isn't that he's done it or that you've seen it. It's now that I'm going to have to watch it. At least a little. Dude, a little.
It's kind of like, do you do that with the internet? Like, I'll like, if someone sends me a fucked up video, I'll have to, like, my buddies, I'm like, I have to watch this to toughen up, like someone get their ankle broken or something. I'm like,
a little. It depends on the subject. I think I used to be more. I think I'm desensitized now. But Randy Quaid, does he have white leather shoes on?
It's not cool, dog. You don't want to see that shit naked, dog. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not fun.
Oh dear. But you were basically Woody Harrelson's character in
No,
Kingpin.
I was that Amish kid who like just had no idea what was going on. Woody
That's what
Harrelson
it,
was he was the bald guy that was like the bowler who got the hand cut off. Woody
right.
Harrelson was like the guy that took him on the road.
I thought Woody Harrelson was the bowler. No, it's Randy Quaid that's the bowler.
Yeah, he is the bowler, isn't he?
Okay,
That's why
yeah.
we're doing this. Man, we are so high.
Well, that's what I was like. Remember when I was like, "Oh, he's that guy"? I'm like, "No, he's actually Griswold." I was right. He is.
You were right.
He's the guy I was
This
thinking.
whole
Yeah,
time.
okay.
Wow.
Okay, let's move back to it. So yeah. So wait, who is Woody Harrelson's the guy that has sex with the old lady landlord? Come on, it wasn't that bad. Right? Oh, he's the pimp. He's like the promoter guy. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not going to be able to have but a couple of kids with those narrow hips.
Yep.
So you're Randy Quaid's character.
Well, and maybe we extend this to like I was back a couple months ago up in my hometown, which is tiny, you know. I still have a house there. I'll keep unnamed. And I met this dude, and let's just say if you're an honest person, like a young person that's growing up, hasn't experienced much yet, even a middle-aged person that hasn't experienced much yet, and I've no, like, of course you're going to think there's a God. Why could there not be a huge power or something, you know? Like, you know,
If you're from there,
if you're from it, well, all of us, I think, feel that in some way. You just like, you know, I mean, even me who's more agnostic or, you know, probably an atheist compared to like my family, I just don't think their definition of God is correct, from what I've experienced. But like, I fucking bow at how little I know. But these, you know, of course you're gonna try to find God. So if you go to a church, that's a great motive. You have a beautiful motive. You're trying to figure out the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why can't we talk about the truth? So you know, like why do we have to deny biology? Why do we have to deny history? Why do you have to change physics? Literally, the laws of physics. The Earth was created in 6 days. No, he rested, right? So seventh is day off, right?
Right.
Right. So he created it in 6.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. And the problem is that they're taking a life guide and trying to make it commandments.
Yeah.
It's just how you should live your life. But then there's something. I mean, I guess atheists are strange only because maybe they don't believe there's anything else. There's not, like, this is just all science.
I've met some atheists that are more annoying than Baptists. Yeah.
I get that. I that's harder to understand to me than that everybody believes there's something. Now, these people that we're making fun of, I mean, talking about, you know, those people want to define it. And if you don't agree with them and you don't give them your money, you are going to burn eternally. So, like, I don't know why people put up with that shit. Like, one more thing.
Yeah.
You were talking about kids and why of course they're going to believe. I thought that was some killer music. Wow. It's good. I think I had a sativa. Of course, kids are going to believe whatever their parents tell them.
Yep.
So that's why kids believe that horseshit.
Right, but that seed, that idea, even God as an idea in a young person, that's a beautiful thing. It just gets fucked and manipulated by the people who, what I see is their life isn't as cool as they want it to be, and everything's hard. And so instead of admitting where they are or what they know or their limitations, they just hide behind this shield of righteousness. Well, I go to church. I've never read the Bible, but I go to church every Sunday, so I'm a Christian.
I'm sorted.
And it's fire insurance shit. And, you know, in the Old Testament, what I was taught is that God hates anything that's lukewarm. He wants you to be hot or cold.
Right.
So it's like...
we touched upon that with the kiddie rape, and maybe that's why the Catholics are so leaning in. You know, they're like, oh, he said he wants passionate. He wants passion. All right, so we're being passionate. I'm going to use that one every time that comes up.
I think we'll have a whole merch line.
Catholics leaning in.
Leading in to it. Oh, man. It's so dark. I didn't read that article, so I wish I could talk about it. But
Correct. Oh, I didn't either. Oh, the
dark shit.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, those fucking. I wish people, it's kind of the same with your youth pastor and organized religion. It's like micro, macro. It's like your guy is telling you what to do, telling you I'm doing the same thing, but not letting you know what the G spot is. It's like, well, you can be a hero on your wedding night if you just go boop, 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 about 40 times, and you're a fucking hero, dude. Dude, that's all you got to say. That's all you have to say. He could have been a fucking hero to you, and your marriage probably would have gone fine. It's like
yeah.
There's an on-off switch. It's right here. Flip that thing on about 3 or 4 times, and you're Hercules.
Right. And I mean, dude, yeah, when you are that old, and also I've been, by the time I got married, by the time my wedding night happened, I'd been around a lot of situations most individuals don't get to be around, like with girls and like,
stuff.
It's always just in your face when you're doing that stuff all the time, and like, dude, I was so bad at sex. I was so bad. I knew not. Because I tried to not even watch porn before this. Like I would, you try obviously you do, but you try not to because it's so it's like you don't even get to explore sex in your mind, like
who's good at something that they've never done before?
No
one. No one. It's like marriage. That like man. Can you imagine? Not only, and you get this a lot from watching these like period piece, things from the royal families of Europe.
Yeah.
When like they're getting married at 15, and like the dude he's been having sex with prostitutes since he was 12, but now he's 20 and marrying a 14-year-old, and she's like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and he's just like, whatever. No one is good at it without trying. So what a crappy way to set people up is like, okay, nobody have sex first. And maybe a lot of times you don't even know each other when you get married.
Well, how about I'll do you one. For me, the way it was, and I didn't do this, I didn't make this, but not just people in my family, but many people I know. My whole social group growing up did this. In courtship, you're not allowed to hold hands, and you're not allowed to hug for very long, and you're not allowed to kiss until your wedding day. So I saved my virginity, but most of my social group saved their first kiss for the altar.
And do you realize that, like, so my first kiss was you remember on playgrounds in elementary school, they had like a big tractor tire halfway buried in the sand?
Totally.
And you could walk through it, and sometimes you get in it and jump up in it.
Mm-hmm.
My first kiss was in 2nd grade inside that tractor tire. Second grade.
What's second grade?
I'm starting up.
What age is that?
Second. Oh, that's like, let's see.
Oh, it's like 7.
6th grade is 10. So go back 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 8. Yeah, 7 or 8.
Yeah. 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So like, there's no sense in that's when I'm starting to practice. Yeah. I'm going to be at least, even, oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
Well, the purpose of this, my mindset was, like I said before, like, if my girl can trust me through this amount of temptation, then I get to tour all the time, and that's all I want to do is tour all the time. So, like, she can trust me. And when you get married and then you're horrible at sex and if things are connected, and like, it's kind of like, yeah, like you said, it's almost like the advice of these pastors and all these different individuals that I would seek out, I'm talking, I would pray like sometimes 2 hours a night prostrate on the floor about these issues in my life. I would pray with pastors about sexual temptation. And like,
pray with them, like sitting there holding hands with them, or
sure, yeah, just keep me safe on the road, that I don't partake in the spoils of Babylon, things like this, but guess what? It beyond backfired. It really didn't work. And it made me a horrible human. And then I made all these huge fucking mistakes, and then I basically blew up my life.
Well, okay. Side note: you said something about the temptations of the path of Babylon. What did you say right there?
The spoils of Babylon.
Dude, okay. So that TM, Spoils of Babylon. That's total on a hat. We're doing that. Spoils of Babylon. The temptations of the spoils of Babylon. You were saying you were praying against the temptations of Babylon. That on the back of a T-shirt. It's fucking gold. It's a path. It's a fool's errand they set you up on.
Yeah.
There is no success. There is no success because you're going into situations that you can't be successful without some a guidebook. It's almost impossible, and they send you in blind. You know what I mean?
Well, they say the Bible's a guidebook, but I think the guidebook is actually good friends. To be honest,
life
I think
experience.
It's good. Yes,
exactly. When that's like a tribe works, a village works, where it's like, you know, you got 3 uncles who are going to be like, don't fuck that one.
Yeah.
Like every don't do it. Just don't. I promise. Don't even ask why. Just walk away. Whatever. Or you know, like whatever. I don't know.
Stage 5 Klinger.
You know, I'm just that's. We don't want to be too crass, and it's like because it's not about that. It really is about like life advice. That is a lot of times it is funny to hear about it, but it's funny because it's just uncomfortable enough that you have to react somehow because it's true, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, in the church, the way I was raised, sex is like, it does, the men that taught it, the people that talk about it in the Bible, it's always through this lens of being holy, you know, like this guy Abraham made a covenant with his eyes that he would not look lustfully on women. But the sex, I never knew girls like sex. I never knew that they got horny. I never knew that they wanted it. I thought it was a thing we had to do to procreate, and so you're not a crazy horny bastard, you know.
That's a really good point.
Right,
yeah.
And so it's like it's just the ignorance that hides behind these. Like everyone's uncomfortable with talking about sex. My parents, how about this? I'll do you one better. They never told me about sex. They never once ever even told me anything.
Not a lick. Nothing. Zero.
No. I learned what a condom was when I was like 18. You know, I learned about sex from being on fucking tour and having, you know, hotel rooms next to my bandmates.
Jesus. My parents had the books in the house that was like, the first one was like, Where Do Babies Come From? I think it was a local Northwest artist. It's like a cartoon book.
It's
Where Do Babies Come From? Yeah, illustrated. Totally. And the next one was like, What's Happening to Me? Which is like going through puberty. Yeah. It's like it's almost like Matt Groening doing them, right? It's like there's, I think it was a local artist. I don't remember his name, but we can fact check that. And then, you know, like my dad had to, there was a rumor that went around in my elementary school at one point that one kid had given another kid a blowjob. and nobody knew what a blow, like it was really horrible. Everybody knew that was really horrible, but nobody knew what it was. And so at dinner, my brother and I are being like, I don't know. And my dad's like, what, you know, it's like, somebody, you know, Dave said Mark gave Scotty a blowjob. What is that? And my dad's like, well, the male genitalia and the female genitalia apparently can be stimulated orally. And a blowjob is slang for when someone, male or female, stimulates a male genitalia orally.
He went straight facts.
Straight up right brain science, like he technical writing shit, right? He used to write for Boeing, so it's like he was like, the missile will blow up and kill 47,000. You know, it was totally that. And honestly, I sort of understood what that meant, but I didn't have a clear I'm like, I think it's when you put your mouth down there. You know, that's what I came away with. You know, so but that was like again in elementary school. So like, you know. And my dad was Catholic. He was a Catholic guy, but he didn't ever shy away from the tough stuff. Sort of. He never told me about, like, he never, you know, like, but we were Catholic still. But, like, that part you said about the girls, you didn't know girls wanted it. Girls like sex, too.
No idea.
That totally resonates with me, where it's like, I thought I was an island.
Yeah.
You know, and there's, like, no girl around me. Those aren't sharks, you know. Yeah. Yeah, because there's sharks in the water, and they probably get eaten if they got anywhere near me. They know better. They know better, you know. But yeah, that's so interesting. But the Catholic dads, I don't think they let on anymore.
Yeah.
I have some. Yeah.
I don't know what it's. I mean, like, you know, we shit on Catholicism so much, but did you like Mass? Did you like any of it?
There were the times that it hit home twice really hard, and both times were after I was allowed. So when my brother got his driver's license, he's a year older. So as soon as he got his driver's license, we went to 7:30 Mass every morning.
Damn.
My entire life. Okay,
yeah.
And a lot of times if my brother spent the night at his friend's house because he's smart and he had friends, I would have to go with my dad to 7:30 Mass on the back of a motorcycle.
Oh my God. That's kind of awesome.
Now it is. Then it was like, fuck, what? It's fucking freezing, bitches. But once my brother got his driver's license, we could go to 11 o'clock Mass.
Okay.
And my brother, being the brainiac he is, he's like, you know, I don't think they'd know if we just walked down there at the end and grabbed they hand out the missal, or not the missal, but the announcements at the end, like it's the little 2-page sheet that like lets you know what's going on for that week for the church.
Okay.
They pass those out at the end of Mass. So if you have one of those, you must have gone to Mass. So we started just going to McDonald's for, you know, it was 11 o'clock Mass, and then like at 11:45 we'd head down to church, kind of sneak, go into the bathroom, and as everyone's coming out, like come back out and grab an announcement, so that we could produce it to my parents. Oh, yeah, Mass was great. They talked about, I don't know, John killed a goat. But at one point, so after that, like periodically, me and my buddy Dave would go to 5 o'clock Mass on Saturday, just cause, and we got high a couple times. And the sermon, I think that the pastor knew there were only like 20 people in there. And we were kind of sitting in the back like you would if you were baked and you're like, you know, 16, 15, whatever. And he like went on this little spiritual guide, little trip, and took me right the fuck with him. I was like, I have seen the light. Have you seen? Yes! The band, Elwood. You know, like I saw it, you know. So there were times, but I like the now turn around and say hi to your neighbor. I thought that was great. How you doing? Peace be with you. Peace be with you.
That.
Peace
yeah.
be with you.
Well,
you know?
Yeah, the community that are built in churches is obviously the cornerstone of so many communities. It's unfortunate it's hidden behind these weird things that I'm trying not to blast because we spend so much time blasting it. But like, yeah, there's like my mom, the church helps her out a lot over the years, and that's what it's for, you know. That's what Jesus wanted. Like,
we're not blasting. We should be clear about this.
We're blasting kid fuckers. Yeah.
Yes. we're not blasting locally. We're blasting nationally.
We're blasting for all of time. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not blasting micro. We're blasting macro. We're blasting the ideas of your, like, you have to go through me to get to, you know, it's like the community part has always been there, and that's what the organized part is, organized religion is taking advantage of. That's what it seems like. It's like, oh, you people are really good together. Check it out. Yeah. I have some rules you need to live by, or you're all gonna burn forever.
What a and like, I had this experience in church because I went to church till I was about 28. And I mean, even if I was on tour, I'd call in and have my brother hold up a flip phone and like take notes. And I'm in this church that I've always gone to, and all the people around me.
Wow.
Yeah, my buddy, you know, Jonah, my buddy he would always talk about me because I'd always be coming back to the hotel from like a coffee shop, like all bright-eyed and like showered, and all the other band guys would be like hungover as fuck, you know, just like, you know, and I'd be like, hi, good morning. Right. Good morning.
The top of the morning. God's on my side.
I was in a Denny's once, and like,
God's my lead singer.
Oh, it was in Detroit. It was in a Denny's in Detroit, and I had gone there to call into church. It was a little bit later, and as I was sitting at the bar at Denny's, I was listening to the sermon, and this woman of the night walked over to me and just started like, "You want a lap dance, bro?" Like just started like fucking yelling at me, like, "I'll suck your dick right now."
D-Town. Someone's gonna get their dick sucked.
So
And
good.
she chose, and of course she chose you.
Yeah.
Hey you.
Like you could see that I was like innocent. Dude, that's something we should talk about. Cause like,
Because I'm actually literally burning in hell right now.
dude,
Not figuratively.
So
Yeah.
the teaching for me growing up, and this has been through all different churches I've been to, is that God created this world, and because He already destroyed it through a flood before and sent the rainbow, that there is no such.
Sent the rainbow?
You don't know about that?
Oh yay! Rainbows?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I don't know anything about the rainbow thing.
Well, so there's this guy named Noah.
Right?
This guy named Noah, right? Back in the
Right,
Bible.
right, yeah.
And he was like 900 years old or something like that. I forgot. But he still built.
At the time, when the story starts,
He was like
we
800.
we open on an 800-year-old man.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go on. I'm just kind of like just painting an outline here. Go ahead.
The problem I have, I could go on everything I've ever been taught about this at church, and we could spend 2 hours on different theories about the firmament above the earth, which was this ice that was surrounding the whole earth, protecting us from UV rays. So therefore, Noah and tomatoes would have been massive, and Noah could grow to this age of 800 years. Yeah, but he,
That's probably all entirely factual, by the way. I'm signing off on that stuff.
it might be, but I don't
Go ahead.
know.
Go back. We open on an 800-year-old man.
I'm like asteroid impact. I'm like old Earth. That's where I'm at with it. But
Sure.
so
But
this,
there had to have been older. Go ahead. I'm just gonna keep saying this.
yeah, right.
I want to hear it.
We
I
get
wanna hear
high.
it. Yeah.
So
Sativa.
so it's really crazy. He builds this boat. He gets on it with his family. The Lord sends all the animals 2 by 2. Well, that's one verse. It's 2 by 2 in one verse, and then I think it's 7 by 7 in another chapter. So, but the Bible's inerrant, so it's okay. So all the animals, including predatory cats and dinosaurs, walk somehow without a supply of food or, means to take care of the manure for that amount of, because there was only like 7 or 8 people in the ark, right? I think so. After 40 days and 40 nights, or in the next verse, it's 170. So, again, the Bible's inerrant. So one of those two,
It's nitpicking.
one of those two, land starts appearing. He sends out a dove. It comes back with an olive branch in its mouth, right? And God then sends a rainbow over the sky to show a covenant with his people that he will no longer, again, destroy the earth by a natural disaster, by a flood.
I mean, his 6 people.
Yeah.
So it was a small rainbow. I mean, he only needed it wasn't.
Yeah, it was a tiny.
It was like a rearview mirror rainbow. Like, here, hang this on the wheel of the ship.
Check. I've never thought about this. I'm uniquely high, but can you imagine if and this isn't. So this is like what 6,000, 5,000 years ago, and can you imagine the amount of inbreeding that would be happening right now if that was the case, that we all come from just like 8 people 6,000 years ago? How long would it take to fuck out those genes?
Abnormalities. Yeah. Those hiccup genes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think
I always, there have been these deluges. I don't know. Everybody's got a story about the flood. Everybody. That's not just everybody's got the not
according to
Noah.
Christians. Yeah, they've never.
Right.
The Epic of Gilgamesh is earlier than the Old Testament and has a flood narrative. There's lots of flood narratives in every.
Right. But Christians are like, no, those ones are all bullshit.
They don't exist. Yeah.
Ours is real.
Yeah, and
those guys were all lying. We're John.
The dinosaur thing is my favorite too, because dinosaurs appear in the ground at this depth that measures around 65 million years, and the Earth can't be that old. So did Satan put dinosaur bones in the ground to tempt our faith?
I would. That's exactly how I'd do it. If I was Satan, I'd be like, I'm gonna fuck these people.
We're gonna end up proving you and me end up like seriously like a Christian cult. We're like worse than everyone.
Told you. It's gonna happen. It's totally gonna happen.
It's a commune. We just pray all day.
This is the beginning of Bill and Ted's in reality right now. And it's like, we're gonna future selves. Dude, you guys totally fucking nailed it. You're gonna come back and what? Okay, first of all, you have to move to Bahamas. I'm like, what?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah. Well, like this, I was so. Since
you were going to talk about. You were going to talk about. You were going to talk about this.
Yeah. So that's what I was. So like. Because I like this is the second time we've done this. What are you talking about? We're learning. People can enjoy our fucking stoned ridiculous journey.
It's fantastic. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. So with that promise, with the rainbow,
is this all from the rainbow still?
Yeah.
Okay,
God can't
Yeah,
destroy the Earth, so why would global warming be real? So like,
is that the? Oh yeah, we were almost to the end when I derailed you. Damn it. Okay, yeah. So global warming can't be real because God can't destroy the Earth again?
Yeah, because He promised.
So that's why it can't be real?
Yes.
So it's 100. But hold on. Fucking people are blowing my mind. That's why it can't be real. So what do they think is causing? So just for a little weather history. Yeah. In the Seattle area, previous to yesterday, or the day of yesterday, there had been exactly, in the amount of times Seattle weather had reached or exceeded 100 degrees in recorded history, happened exactly 3 times.
Damn.
Period. Mm-hmm. Now, yesterday it was 100 degrees, today it's going to be 104, and tomorrow it's going to be 100 degrees again. So I'm not saying it's God doing it, because He obviously doesn't want to fuck with the Earth again, because He doesn't like making rainbows, apparently. But you can shine light through a prism and get the same thing. Whatever. Sorry, don't mean to spoil everyone's parade. But like, what do they think is causing this? Like, global warming can't be right because God. Well, what can't we be fucking it up? Or do we not have that?
Well, so I want to, and I might be harping on this too much, but I want to try to say this a lot. I know when I'm going to try on this show to represent the views as they were taught to me my whole life growing up in my sect of Christianity in a very small town. I know this doesn't reflect everyone's views. I know I've met people that I consider real Christians that believe in science, that give to poor people, that help all the time. They're so kind. They're great. They're amazing humans. I love them. I've met more that are not. So when I say this shit, this is going to be what they would say to me. Right. So it's either like a science trying to lie to us so they can bring about the one world order. So maybe there's a machine that's heating it up, or
right.
Yeah, or maybe it's just the fluctuation the Earths go through, even though, that's weird because that's someone who doesn't believe in science using science, because
I'm sorry, so they don't believe in science at all?
Well, no.
Do they use ice cubes?
Yes. They have cell phones, they tweet. Yes, but they don't. No, they believe they believe the Earth's 6,000 years old.
Okay, so they'll use as long as, they don't have a problem. It's not like Jewish people not using tools or electricity or anything on Sundays.
No, they do whatever.
Yeah, they'll use the phone. They'll use ice cubes because
They got
that's
VR
like,
porn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Sure.
Whoa. So they acquiesce to some science, but just not to science that interrupts or disproves their belief system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Same. They do the same thing with the Bible, unfortunately.
Right. Well, I think most people actually do that to a certain extent. Maybe not to the extent of denying climate change or 104 fucking degrees today, but that part where it's like, I'm not going to let a bunch of people I don't know personally dictate how I'm going to live my life.
the thing I see I can only see hypocrisy with it, with the way I grew up, which is weird. Like, there was this church where they had I used to attend, had a big plot of land, and they wanted to put a big cell phone tower up on the church property, and they would have generated so much income. Like, they would have been paid monthly to have it there, and would have been just free money.
It's like a lease.
Mm-hmm. And the pastor didn't want it because there would be information passing through that tower that would carry pornography, would carry, bad curse words, So they didn't have, and it's like, you could have just straight given that money to the homeless shelter down the street. Like, you could have just taken it. And by the way, your congregation has got their cell phones in their pocket. I bet if you go on their private browser, I bet there's plenty of pornography over there. You've already got it going through your church.
It's in your house. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that he wouldn't do it until they made a cross out of it, and then he took the money and he bought Ferraris or something, cocaine and hookers.
No, maybe we'd be buddies.
Yeah.
If he did that, we'd all be hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah. The hypocrisy is tough. You're talking on a I don't know. Is that spiritual? That he won't. That he's deciding shit that's not in the Bible.
This is one of my favorite terms. Have you ever heard? Oh shit! I just got a little bit high.
Yeah.
Church politics.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, just like any other structure, these dominance hierarchies emerge, right? And the pastor is obviously the head. Then there's deacons. Then there's shepherds. Then there's, whoever, the nice old lady that always works in the office. They're all a part of this, and they all don't realize it, that they start playing self-righteous games with each other where they try to out-righteous each other. So, like, in the church I grew up in, it was really popular to get like a box that took out all the curse words from TV shows. So if they say like "damn," it cuts it out. Or if it was like any type of
you
put it between the cable and the TV.
Right. Oh my
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like fascinating to me. Fascinating.
Church politics, is that a biblical term?
Nope.
No, okay. That's what I thought you were like. Yeah, no, of course.
It's just what happens in every church, and it's so you have this guy that just because he's the head of something is making some dumb decision based upon his own bias, his own opinions, and then you have other people below him that are trying to help people in need and do good things, and there's this whole dynamic of where the power and the money goes, and it's like it's fucking ridiculous. Meanwhile, there's poor people, there's people without beds. I can't believe how many Jesus helps anyone in need, right? Jesus just is given to poor people, to fishermen, to prostitutes, to broken people. If you were a leopard back then, you just died on the side of the road. If you had broken legs back then, you just died on the side of the road. He's healing those people and giving them a life. Meanwhile, Black Lives Matter happens, and every Christian's like, that's fake. That's all I saw. That's all I saw on Facebook. And I know other people have had different experiences, and I come from a weird life, from a weird world, and I'm a weird person, but that's all I saw on Facebook was everyone just trying to deny it. And that's what you see now. And that's why their religion is dying out. And that's why none of these kids believe it anymore. That's why none of the kids, because they're watching the hypocrisy, because they're seeing, if you read the Bible enough, you will see contradictions, massive contradictions. And if you can't settle, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm not ranting.
No, you're totally right. Well, and apparently, if you're young enough, and at least and don't and get through without getting too much of their stink on you, and you read the Bible apparently like more than they do, the hypocrisy will be like what will be just one generation away. Like you're saying, it's like the Bible is a. I have not read the Bible. I'm going to need to. Maybe both of them.
It's pretty boring.
But yeah, but it seems like it's been around for a while. It's been on the top New York Times bestseller list for what 1900 years.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It's sort of like it's like Dark Side of the Moon. It's like you don't really have to like Pink Floyd, but you got to listen to that record once.
Yeah, and that's why I actually started this, because to be honest, when I went through all the hard times in life and all the people in my church just fucking disowned me, and I went through all these ridiculous moments, I realized it was all fake. Excuse me. I kind of went heavy to the left side. I read like the Book of Satan and the Bhagavad Gita, and I read all these things that I wasn't allowed to. And then as I like settled in life, as the anger settled, as I like read more and learned more, I was like, this book is. So I don't see it as a book. It wasn't written as a book. It's literally like if you took a 5,000 year, 6,000 year span, 5,000 year span. It's the best stories ever. It's like the Whitney Houston #1 hits every year. It's the Mariah Careys. It's of the stories that were getting passed down. This is to be honest, as they were changing them, as oral traditions and societies are known to do, I bet the points became even clearer. I bet the morals and the essence of these stories are pretty intact. The Bible has more errors in the New Testament than it has words. But all of those are mostly spelling errors. So the ideas, the stories are intact. That's something you can trust on. And so I see the Bible as like the wow hits of fucking yesteryear. So like if you got a wow CD from 95 and it's like, I'm a Barbie girl. You see that video, they're all blue and dancing. And you're like, that's how everyone lived back then. We should dress up like this and sing. And no, that's fucking stupid. Like,
right. It's just one of the hits.
And they have such weight. Like we use them in all of our stories. Like look at Pinocchio and try not to get philosophical. Look at like any Disney movie is going to have like the call to adventure, the breaking of your reality where you realize your parents are wrong, like the slaying of dragons, and then the returning to the village and giving them the knowledge. It's like these are all biblical fucking stories.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so far what I've come away with on this one is that I'm really sorry I wasn't more in your life from the time I knew you all the way up. Like, because you would be really honest about it. Like we would talk about how you were saving yourself.
Yeah.
And I just really wish I like kind of. I mean, I kind of had my own shit going on. I guess I had a kid, but it's like and I had cancer. It's like I'd been stricken with a plague. I was learning from my time with the devil. But I really wish that but I don't know. I don't think there was. I think you had to go on this path yourself, because it's not like you and I didn't have really in-depth talks about these things. We've been doing these talks
forever.
For like 20 years. So it's like, and it helped me to say that out loud, because I was just thinking, God, why wasn't I there more? But we talked about this, and you were just like, fuck it, this is what I'm doing. And I'm like, I just never thought to like the advice part. Like, I didn't know that you had no guidance, no, okay, I got the cheat sheet. I talked to Ron, no data.
No data. Zero.
Yeah.
Like, not, and it's a weird place to be, because people go to school, they see facial expressions, they meet other people, they've already seen all the different types of personalities arise. Like, I was in the woods, and if I'd go every morning and ask my neighbor if their dog could hang out, and like, that was my life. And then like, but you, and like, so like, you, Squires, Burke, Jonah, like, there's a bunch more, but like, you guys did literally help me. Like, you guys, there's this moment I was on tour, and I would always ride with Jonah from Schoolyard Heroes, because I just love their band, and we were in Dallas. Where'd Kennedy get shot? Kennedy got shot in Dallas.
Right? Yeah.
So we're in Dallas and we played the Gypsy Tea Room, and we're like, been driving for 30, 40 minutes, and we were like talking in depth, and he grew up Jewish, and so I'm going in on this 30-minute rant trying to save his soul from hell, and I'm like, Jesus was the Lamb of God. See, that's like the Jewish people needed to sacrifice a lamb, and he was the fulfillment of this covenant, and that's why you can trust in him. And just like all the Christianese you could ever imagine.
You're going in.
Oh, man, and he was so kind. He's still like, he's so kind. He just listened to the whole thing. And right at the end, he realized I was done, and he goes, and that was it. he just did this. And that was like hand to God. That's all I needed. Because I have no, I like straight up stopped. I'm like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You don't have to tell me anything else.
Right. Just that part about, I mean, you really, we don't even talk about personal relationships, do we?
We can talk about anything. We can edit this shit out.
Okay.
Or not.
Yeah. Well, your first wife, I was going to talk about. She's a really nice person.
She's the best.
She's the best, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you'd have had Sex for Dummies,
yeah,
or any of these books, just like a third grader. Oh, that's I got this. You're a quick learn. You can play the shit out of a guitar. That's hard to do. That's got 6 strings. A woman only has like 3 or 4. It's like you can, it's like you got 2 hands. You're fine. You're tapping
2 hands.
You're tapping pedals at the same time. You can probably totally. You got 2 hands. So do you think that would have? Do you think you would have saved your marriage?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, because the awkwardness of being that wrong, where you're like, it was explained to me that if I do this, if I stay pure, if I deny the spoils of Babylon, then my marriage will be blessed by God, and I'll have because, I just wanted to be in a partnership with someone that knows I love them and have, which I have now, and security, which I have now, but at the same time, I was such a different human back then, and I wasn't really allowed to be myself. So the thing about a relationship is you got to be both going the same direction in life, and I think unfortunately we were kind of just different people, but she was my best friend ever. We dated for almost, I think 13 years. Jesus, we dated forever. 10 years. And so you save yourself, you drink the Kool-Aid, you believe it, you're in all,
See, that I would think that was you just won the lottery, or you bought 13 years of lottery tickets and it just paid off. Yeah, that should mean it's what a tragedy with the other way.
Yeah, right, exactly. And
you proved 3 weeks the porn star's been trying to get up in that.
Yeah. Yes, and there's this verse in the Bible that I try to live by, and we're going to start this thing where I'll have pre-planned Bible studies next time, and we'll start off with
Sweet.
Yeah, so we'll have 10 minutes of coherence, and then we can ramble.
Yeah.
So oh fuck, what were we just talking about? Because I lost the Bible story.
The payoff from the payoff from buying 13 years of celibacy, 3 weeks. The porn star's trying to get up in it.
Oh yeah. Okay, so there's this verse in Proverbs, which is my favorite book in the Bible, right. And it says, "Let your praises come from the lips of other men," and that's fucking the shit.
That's it, right? That's the best. That's great. Where is that? Say it again. It's in
Proverbs.
Okay.
Proverbs, great. There's 31 of them. It's in the Old Testament.
What is Proverbs?
Proverbs are like poems, a bunch of collection of Jewish poems, and I think there's a couple songs, but I think the songs stay in Psalms. There's a bigger book called Psalms. So Proverbs is straight poetry, and it has all of my favorite verses in the Bible come from Proverbs. There's 31 of them, so it's really cool. You can read one every day of the month. So they're really short chapters. Yeah, and it's always there's another one that I use all the time. It goes, "To give a fool wisdom is to only increase his folly."
All right. So who wrote the Proverbs?
Like Jewish holy men. Like I think King David wrote a couple, and like there's probably just a bunch of badass early people in this faith of Israel.
Thinkers, the thunkers.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they stole it from farmers and shepherds, but it is the best they had.
Say the first one again.
The first one that I mentioned is "Let your praises come from the lips of other men."
So good.
Dude, I have go.
Trademark.
Can we trademark a Bible verse? Yeah. We'll just change a word, get a third. We'll just Don Henley it.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was freshly in. When you go from being in just like a local band to like a little bit of a bigger band, and it's like weirder, right?
Yeah,
so I was like walking around the mall with my friends that were in a local band still. And they were awesome. They fucking ruled, actually. They were working hard. I think a couple of them eventually got in all these cool bands. But some of them were pretty douchey. And the douchey ones, everywhere we were walking in the mall, every single store, they were like, my band, guys. They were like, my band. Hey, my band's playing a show. Hey, my band just, they'd be
like advertising to people. They were like,
just telling everyone.
Yeah.
Just tell, and I remember they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we opened up for Slayer or something like that," and it's like, no, you played in the parking lot outside the festival. Slayer played. You didn't even win a contest. It was just like Bob's Brewery outside. It's like it's not the same thing,
right,
buddy. And so I was dealing with all those emotions in my head. I'm like, bitch, I just got off like a fucking nationwide tour. I got like money in my bank account, and I'm feeling the urge to want to talk about my band. I'm like, Jesus, like I'm in a band too. I'm getting all like embarrassingly, like what a 21-year-old, 22-year-old is. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say dick. I just sat there, and we went to and he was hitting on all the girls, and they were going for it. And like outside one of these stores, after one of these events, like 5 people ran up to me and go, can I get your autograph? And I just signed these autographs, and like their faces just like, and I was like, that's that fucking Bible verse. That's the Bible verse. It was like, that was a
so
billion. Yeah. Fuck you guys. That's way cooler.
Yeah. I mean, if kids were in bands, we could like make a little short movie of that, but nobody plays in bands anymore. So,
dude, here, do you know
awesome.
How easy it is to make records now and how easy it is to make mumble rap? It's not the same thing as plugging in a fucking guitar and do a loud Marshall stack. Like, there's something spiritual there.
Yeah.
Have we hit a limit?
No, not for me. The dog's trying to walk up the stairs. I'm like, dude, it's really hot up there. Hey, Kate.
He says hello. Hi.
Hey.
We're enjoying this time off.
Yeah.
Gotta take that dog out.
Yeah. It's important. Unless you want to poop on your floor.
Dude. Especially with this little one. I never thought that thing would steal my heart, though. It's fucking. I've almost had to.
It no longer belongs to you. Yeah.
I've never even had a small dog.
Have you ever had a dog?
Oh, so many. Yeah. I have So this is a funny story. I grew up really poor, right? And my mom is really good at telling bedtime stories, like really good. And so my sister and I, all of us 4 kids, are actually really close in age. But when we were younger, before the other 2 came, my mom would always tell us these stories about us, adventures about us, not like Pete and the Dragon or like, no, it was like there was a prince and a princess. And so they were always like dragons and adventures and weapons. So one day when I think I was like 3.5, 4, my dad's a carpenter. My dad's a jack of every trade. He's ridiculous. He had this cool saw that looked like a sword. It was one of those old hand saws. And it just was big enough I could carry. And so I just was like, I'm going to go on one of these adventures. I'm going to go fucking kill a dragon and like bring it back to my mom. So I grabbed this sword And I start walking down the road, and I got
It
a
was
couple.
a sword or a saw?
Saw, sorry. It was a
Sorry.
saw. Yeah,
No,
no.
but to
in
you,
my
it
mind.
was a fucking saw. Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I thought we were. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
But all of a
in
sudden
my
you turned it
mind.
in. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought maybe you had,
yeah,
I thought maybe you had powers. I turned that shit into a fucking sword and I was on my way.
No, it's so weird how vivid this memory is in my head. It's crazy. But so I should preface this by we had a golden retriever named Shizer. I have no idea why it was Shizer, but it was.
Oh no. I don't like that.
I know. I don't know what that. I was
No, I'm just afraid.
hesitating.
I'm just afraid of where the story's going.
Oh man, this dog was so fucking smart that my parents would tell stories about it. Like apparently before they had kids, they had this dog, and they had a couple had a kid, and they had this little baby, and the dog loved to play catch, and like the kid couldn't throw it far enough for the dog, so the dog Shizer started throwing the ball for the kid, and bringing it back. Like he was like this crazy smart dog. Yeah. So here I am on my adventure. I'm like a mile down the road from my house. It's pretty far.
You're 3?
3.5, 4, yeah.
Right.
Well, my grandma was coming over, and she had this big black car, and so I remember seeing this big black car, and I see my grandma's hair, and I could barely see it, and so I'm waving, and it.
You're waving
the saw.
The saw that you've withered into a sword.
Yeah.
You're waving it over here.
And I'm like, not
Grandma?
yeah, and it's. Not to stop her, just to say hi, oh grandma, and the car is barreling at me, and that fucking dog runs out of nowhere and shoves me in the ditch, and I don't get hit by the car. And
Oh, seriously?
yeah,
Holy
our neighbor saw the whole thing and runs out with him and his wife are and they brought me back to my mom and they explained what happened.
Yeah.
So
Dogs have a sword. I don't know where the sword came from. The kid must have withered a saw into a sword, and he was waving it around.
See, when you grow up, I grew up so country. I grew up really, really, really deep in the country.
Right. That's amazing. It reminds me. So, our only dogs we had growing up, 2 rescues.
Okay.
But this is before there was rescuing.
Okay.
It's super. My son would refer to them as unsatisfactory. That's what he said. It says one of our cats was, but yeah, it's just horrible, not good dogs. The one would run out the bigger one would run out the door every time you left the door open, go roll around in somebody else's dog shit. And so whoever let the dog out had to then, once it came back, had to give the dog a bath.
Oh,
no. And the other one was a little rat terrier that had the whole back of it. No, it was just mange.
Oh yeah.
And fleas. And it was my brother's dog, and we shared a room, so I had fleas.
Oh,
man,
it's
just not cool.
Yeah, it's not. My parents, we've had a dog every second of my life, but none of them have gone to a vet, not once.
Yeah.
My parents weren't into paying money for that kind of stuff, We had a dog. Oh, sorry.
So you were talking about little dogs, and now we have a little dog that melts your heart, and he's the most satisfying, probably the best relationship I've ever had. Oh, boo boo. You were talking about when you went on a 3-year-old adventure, and it made me think of me and my brother we hadn't moved we were still living in Pennsylvania, which we moved away from in 1972. So I was born in 68, so it was before I was 3. My brother and I shared a room, and we had watched I think it was the Brady Bunch.
Okay.
Where they go to I don't know, somebody runs away in a TV show, and we think that sounds pretty fun. So when my mom puts us up for nap time, my brother's like, we should run away. I'm like, let's do it. And so we go out of the house and we're go across this, I don't know, apparently we end up at this school that I think he went to preschool at. Okay. And he's a year older. And I just remember, this is how young we were. I remember walking up the street and there was a little bit of an incline and I was leaned forward touching like I was so small that I was touching the ground with my hand as I walked up like a monkey would, like I was fucking probably 2. And like apparently, so then we get to this school and the nuns give us little biscuits, little toast, and we sit there and eat the toast. And all of a sudden, my parents drive up. I'm like, fuck, this is great. Running away's awesome. What the hell? Turns out, find out later, fast forward into life, and they're like, oh my god, that you had to walk, you had to cross 2 really busy streets to get to that that preschool. And when you got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old doing this, let's go run away. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, I have a story. I have a runaway story.
Let's hear it.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, to preface this, I was 8. We were living in this place in Kent, Washington, and it was like a long road, about maybe 4 miles of a dirt road to get back to the house we lived in. It was a really cheap house. It was adjacent to this cabinet shop my dad worked at, so we lived on the property where he worked. It was kind of he had a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
My mom and him were just trying to build their careers, not much money, that kind of thing. And my mom and dad have a saying, and they would always tell me that you can run away, but you can't take anything with you because we bought those clothes. So if you run away, you can run away whenever you want, but you can't take shoes, food. You can't take anything from our house because those clothes are ours. Those shoes are ours. Okay. And now,
let me. I gotta unpack just a little bit. I mean, seems appropriate. Why was there front-loaded talk about running away?
I don't know. There always was.
See, for me, I'm not planting seeds. I'm not trying to get to harvest. You know what I mean? It's like that's it's like I just want you to I don't know if you've ever thought about that before, but that's what I want. That's where I want you to be. That's where we need to get to.
There's gonna be
I'm not using any words with my son that I don't want him to eventually unpack. I should probably run away. I should probably get naked and run away at some point. And it seems like
yeah, it's like heaven. When you're taught about heaven and hell from a very young age, you get scared a lot. You're like, you don't want. I never wanted to do anything bad. I never wanted to be I never wanted to offend God. It was a big deal to me. I wanted to go to heaven, and so I got a new bow and arrow, and it was so cool because it's we don't have a TV. We don't have video games. We have a backyard and a rope swing, and so. But I got a bow and arrow, and it was a tiny, shitty one, like a kid one, like a toy, with the suction cup.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and I've shot it once in the yard. I'm not supposed to shoot it in the house. Mom and Dad are gone. Dad's at work. Mom had to run to the grocery store, which is the gas station at the end of this 4-mile long road. So it's not really a grocery store. I think she was literally going to get us some chocolate for a reward for something we did right. Which, check this out, we were so broke and there was 4 of us, so it would always be a Kit Kat bar. And then she'd break it up and give us all one, and we had no idea. And man, when I found out there was 4 fucking Kit Kats at a Kit Kat bar, that was a rough day. It was a bad day. I digress.
I'm 27. I've never had a whole Kit Kat. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I got this bow and arrow, and I'm inside. I'm not supposed to shoot it. And I'm like, fuck. But I wanted to know. And so I don't think it'll go very far. And I take aim at the light above the kitchen. Because I'm a fucking genius.
Because why not shoot for the top?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not good at this. I'm not going to hit anything. And it literally hit exactly where I was looking. It shatters the whole thing. 4 of the things fall and break, and there's glass everywhere. And I'm standing there with my bow and arrow, and my sister's like, you're gonna die,
Your soul.
It was, dude, I instantly went to my room, stripped totally naked, grabbed a handkerchief, wrapped it around the end of a stick, but there was nothing in it because I didn't know what to put in it. So I was just like, I'll need this later.
Everyone has one. This means I'm running away. It's like a universal sign.
Yeah. And I
or I'm a hobo.
Yeah, I just started walking down that road naked. So I was naked with that fucking...
Oh my god! Dude, I just figured it out. Look, okay, so your parents told you about that. They. Oh shit! They're so fucking smart, those two, your parents. That way, the thing is that, like, otherwise, so that means from, like, I don't know, from 4 miles away, your mother, when she sees you naked with a stick, she knows you're running away. It's like, why? Because she's the only reason he'd be naked, not in the house, is because he's running away. Because I told him he'd have to be naked. God damn, they're smart.
And she caught me. She did. Like, by the time I got to the end of the road, she was coming back, and she was like, "Get in the car!" She was not happy.
Oh, dude, what a fucking brutal course of events.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking one time. First, if you're gonna look half full, if there's any silver lining, you had to have been like, fuck, I'm really good with a bow and arrow. Fuck, I might have a career, man. That was a good shot.
I'm pretty good. I got a pretty good eye. I'm liberal as fuck, but I grew up in the country.
That fucking aim is true, bitch. Oh dear.
Dude. We might even. We might have to start a live Bible study on TikTok, where we do every Wednesday. We do live Bible study where we we'll read a Bible together, and then we let all the weirdos ask questions, and we film it. Like, I'm not sure. I do think it's cool though, and like, I do think like now we've had a couple conversations. I was really worried about just being a dick, because like,
and that's the thing is you're not a dick, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to be funny a lot of the time. But the shit is stinging. Like, it's only funny because it's right. I'm like, when you started talking about, what was it you were talking about? Like, I don't want to be a dick. I'm not trying to, like, it's super important to me to keep it, like we're talking about community being so important. Like, I'm not dissing people's beliefs. I'm like, and I don't fucking care what people believe. I don't, it's more power to you.
Yeah.
Live and let live. That's my fucking golden rule. That's so important. Like, so that's not us, like, I don't think we have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Because our natural filters, separate, don't have dick in them. So together it's sort of like doubling a vocal. It just makes it thicker and better.
Right. I think it'll just I think we could open up conversations about the Bible maybe. And like,
is that so hard?
It seems very interesting, at least so far. Like I've listened to that first conversation like 4 or 5 times now, and there are some areas, I don't know if you've listened to the whole thing, there's areas where it trails off, and but like not compared to everyone else I've done this with. Like everyone else I've done this with, the conversations are absolutely unlistenable, because it's just everyone has so many questions and nothing stays coherent. It's just like up and down and up and down, and actually that's the tool of churches to manipulate their congregation, is whenever they ask a good question, they'll just point them to another part of the Bible, and you get so confused. They've brought up 17 different angles and facts that really don't relate to anything and just kind of sound nice, and that's
the conversation.
This is the shit.
And especially, I mean, you have, I think it's just a really, you have this unusual and extraordinary information, this knowledge base on this ancient, this shit that everyone knows. It's not like they haven't heard of, it's not like it's like John Denver, and so nobody, who born in the 20, after 2000 knows. It's like everybody knows the Bible, everybody. And I'm just a really curious person, and I try to I think that, like, oh, dude, it's so annoying. All the way up until your parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, now if you were a Christian homeschooled, you'd be a way better parent. Like, you could go back to it now and do that, and it wouldn't be the worst thing for your kid. You just teach him what life is about, and maybe you still have this extraordinary belief in the texts themselves. That'd be fine. I think I think that does take an objectivity, unfortunately, and my objectivity came through travel and meeting other people,
And I got this experience where I just got to meet I got to travel the whole world and meet all these different people. And when you meet a transvestite and you grew up in a rural area that's really Christian, I guarantee you that your opinion on trans people will completely change. When you meet gay people and you've never met a gay person, I guarantee you, when you meet a Muslim and he's awesome and he's the best at telling jokes, like your opinion on that person and their religion and their beliefs is going to just literally like disintegrate in front of your eyes. It just bubbles away, just like all the preconceived notions, So like maybe that's what we give people.
Are your sister's kids? Do you get to hang out with them?
Yeah.
Are they real?
I'm crazy.
They think you're gonna. Are you going to hell?
Yeah.
Is it like you are? And are they cool with that? They're like, that's cool. What's it like?
They are like, it's like Uncle Leif's kind of scary.
and there's none of them are like pick your brain.
To be honest, and I guess we'll have to edit most of the stuff out, but like they don't know anything about the Bible. Those kids, they just go to church. Most people here's how I know. If someone comes to me and says they're a Christian, this is how I know they're what that means.
You qualify. This is how you qualify them?
Yeah. If they say, "Oh, I'm a Christian," I know from that statement that you have never read the Bible.
Oh,
that's what I know. That's it. Like
the truth. The truth hurts me.
Yeah, like if you say the Bible is inerrant, I know you've never read the Bible. Like you just never read it. And because most Christians, right, they just are comfortable with this. They're fine. Right? Who cares? Like God works in their life. They show up on Sunday, they get a little soul bath, they feel better, and that's what they need.
It's funny that the Christians it's funny that the flock, because that's exactly what they are. They're sheep. It's really a bummer. I want to show you this now, just because. See where we go. Oh, it went from. Damn it! I should have showed you a second ago. It was 102. Now it's back to 100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
I've had a conversation with a Christian, and it went on this whole scope of global warming. And they were explaining to me how it will never happen, that global warming's a hoax because God would never destroy the earth again because of the story of the flood. And I was explaining to him, like, well, yeah, but didn't God make us stewards of the earth when Adam and Eve, he says that he put them over the earth to tend it, to take care of it. And like, what if I smoke cigarettes? Isn't that bad for my lungs? Don't you think we should take care of this? And they said, well, we just don't have to. We don't need to. God will take care of this, that we won't perish. And I asked him, I say, so if global warming becomes real, if it's inevitable and it gets proven, will you denounce your faith in Jesus Christ? And he said, absolutely.
You should. Is he in Seattle today?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Is he? Oh, yeah, you should. Hey,
yeah. I should text him.
Hey, motherfucker, let's talk about JC. I think he's like, fuck Christ, man. I guess I'm fucking going. So then he wouldn't go to hell, so we could, like, man, what a life he could lead now. Is he a young guy?
No, he's a little older. Not much. But, that is the predominant. If you go to a rural church in Texas, that's what they're going to say.
Yeah.
I
gotta bounce.
Yeah, we did this a long time. Let's do.
It's great.
All right. I love you. We'll talk soon.
Okay, later.
Bye.
There it is. Shit. Apparently, I like to exaggerate dates and times a little bit. I keep throwing out 5,000 and 6,000. Little strange, I know. We're getting better. That's what I'm saying. You're here. We're here. What are you doing? What are you wearing? You look good. All right, we'll see you next week. Smooches.